Hey guys, how's it going today? I'm back for another plant ID video. So for this one, I'm standing under the shade of a tree. You may recognize this tree by these three unusual sets of leaves that grow on the tree. So we should take a second to talk about the different parts of a leaf. So just to kind of cover the basics. So if there are serrations around the edge, you can see those little saw teeth. We just say they're serrated. The stem that I'm holding, that's holding the leaf up, that's called the petiole. All right, just to know some basic morphology, so that when we start talking about some of these trees that we identify later, we'll kind of know what we're talking about here. So what's unique about the tree that I'm standing under, and you can see some of the leaves in the background here, is that they have different shapes. So this one we call mitten shaped. You can imagine that thumb sticking out. We have one that's lobed. So this is like more sort of traditional, like you'd see on a maple leaf, similar. And this one, this shape right here, let's drop the other two, is called entire, meaning all the way around. There are no lobes, it's just entire. And it is serrated though. So anyway, there's three different leaves on this tree. And if you're from the Southeast, or if you're familiar with trees in the Southeast, there's only a few kinds of trees that would fit that category. One would be a sassafras, but that's not what this is. The other would be a mulberry, and that's what I'm standing under. So this is a big old mulberry tree. And as you can see, I'm sure you've heard of mulberries. Let me see if I can find a berry on it. Here we go. So the berries right now are ripening up. Now the question is, which kind of mulberry is this? So there are about 10 species of mulberries around the world, and many cultivars, and it gets a little bit confusing. What I can tell you is that in North America, Morus rubra, which is the red mulberry, is the only native mulberry that we have. The white mulberry was brought over here in the 1800s to feed silkworms with the idea that we're gonna produce more silk, but that sort of didn't really work. But what we ended up with now are a bunch of white mulberries, which is what this is, which is Morus alba. There's also Morus nigra, which is black mulberry, but that's not what this is. The reason you can tell that this is Morus alba and not the other two is rubra, first of all, is the red mulberry, remember? That one has very fuzzy leaves. So they're very hairy. So if you feel the leaf on the top, especially, it's going to be fuzzy. And on the bottom, it's going to feel fuzzy. And remember I told you that the petiole is that stem right here that holds the leaf. Well, it's not really a stem, but it's the part that holds the leaf onto the stem. See how pronounced the veins are underneath the bottom of this leaf? That's how you can tell it's an alba. Alba's very shiny, not very hairy at all compared to the other two. And the venation on the bottom of the leaf is very pronounced. But now I didn't eat that berry because it had a little worm on it. Bugs and stuff like to eat these things. Lots of wildlife like to eat them. Here's one that looks pretty good. But they're sweet and they're good. Unfortunately, red mulberry, so the one that I said was native, they're very uncommon. But the white mulberry loves the sun and it loves disturbed areas. Disturbed meaning areas like on the side of a road, a place that's been like, I don't know, where some human activity has kind of disturbed the area. White mulberries love that, which of course humans are really good at disturbing areas. So you end up getting lots of white mulberries. And that's kind of what's ended up happening is these things have kind of taken over. So anyway, so that's my spiel about mulberries. You can forage for them. You can eat the berries. They're really good. And actually the leaves are edible as well. But I'd probably recommend that you make a tea with them. They're not terrific to eat. You can eat them raw, but there's better things to eat as just raw greens. The best way to make this is just dry them out and make mulberry tea with it. All right. So we'll see if we can find some red and maybe a black mulberry at some point down the road. But for now, that's a white mulberry, and we'll catch you guys later.